back, wine go down, do the boom shakalak. Sorry, I got it.
Wow.
Did you know that? Did you know that the girl on the left, she truly designed?
I do now. Ha. Well. Hello everyone and welcome back to number 2, Super Game N Gab podcast number 2.
Good evening.
Or morning,
listening now.
or afternoon, wherever you may be, whatever time it may be.
Listening to this at any time of day. Or time could be irrelevant to you because you might be in space.
Perhaps you're from the future and you've transcended time.
True. Could be happening.
It's possible. We are Terry and Phil, Super Game N Gab, an incredible duo of
Super
two
Game N
blokes
Gab.
who pretend to know what they're doing. We don't have a clue.
Yeah. No, not really.
Not.
I don't really know what I'm doing as an adult in life in general, to be honest.
It's
let
just,
alone
it's true. Just sort of winging
on
it,
this
hoping for the
podcast.
best.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So we've made some slight changes since the last time. We have switched from recording on Skype to using Discord. And
Discord.
it's better quality. It certainly sounds to be that way for us. And
It's pretty good.
it's pretty good. And yeah, hopefully it sounds good to you guys. Also, we after we recorded the last podcast, we added we didn't have our intro outro music sorted, and then we got that together actually today before recording this one. The
Basically,
first podcast isn't live yet, so
basically
this is
just
a bit weird.
indicative of us in general, isn't it? Just everything's last minute.
Yep.
We weren't even going to record a podcast today, but then we were like, no, things have happened in the games industry. We must talk
Things have
about them
happened.
right
Things have
now.
happened. The thing is, as well, I was listening to our previous podcast and realised that there was a lot of things from E3 that we didn't really touch on. Underwhelming as it may have
Thanks
been,
and stuff.
and thanks. And
Thanks, Coral.
yeah, there was lots of things like, Last Guardian finally getting a release date.
Oh yeah.
A bunch more info on Final Fantasy 15 and just a whole bunch of stuff like Watch Dogs 2 looks pretty fun. What else? Oh god, it's so long ago now. It was like, it feels like years ago. I don't know, but there was a lot of things that we didn't talk about. Perhaps we can touch on a few of those today, but I don't know. We'll see where the evening takes us.
See how the mood strikes.
Ow.
How is the mood striking you right now?
So, Phil, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to?
I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. You have to tell
I
me.
will tell you. So, the adventures of Phil and his computer continued. That joyless saga. It's been a bit of a shit show, to be honest. I'm on Windows 10. Woo! Yay!
Boo! Who booed?
Get out. Okay. Yeah, it's okay. You shit, go home. I have Windows 10 on my ancient gaming rig, and it's okay. I don't know what everyone's wigging out about, to be honest. As if Google hasn't been collating data from us for a decade. Yeah. Oh, Windows 10's watching you. Maybe chill out and don't do anything illegal. Then might be a good idea. Maybe.
Nope. Can't promise that. Go
Can't
away.
promise. No, definitely going to be
Building bombs. Wait, no, hang on.
Definitely don't say
Forget
that.
I said that.
Never say that. Don't worry, it's too late. Windows 10's already tracked you saying that.
Ah, balls.
The police are on your way. Put the kettle on. Right. So yeah, Windows 10. It's okay. It's definitely given me a slight performance boost. Also, the fact that I just formatted all the crud off my hard drive from the last.
To be
7
fair,
years.
yeah, you were using
it's gonna be
Vista,
that, isn't it?
and to be honest, using a potato would have given you a performance boost.
I was using a potato. That was my hard drive.
I don't know what noise that was.
Noise. What was that noise?
That was the.
To anybody non-British listening to this, that's possibly the most English noise you can make. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's like French.
This podcast has just devolved into noises.
Oh, archetypes. Done it again. Okay, so yeah, no, I've upgraded my hardware slightly, shall we say. I've actually been looking at some upgrade kits because we touched on the new graphics cards that have been released recently, or the
we sure did.
The 1060, the GTX 1060 is still yet to be released.
We touched that topic ever so lightly. UK.
We did touch it gently, gingerly. Yeah, so I've been finding that I've got some CPU issues, and upgrade kits, having had the recent Prime Day sale on Amazon, I was looking at some upgrade kits, and I'm thinking now I'm just going to get myself a new motherboard and CPU combo, and play some good games. Anyway, games is what this is all about.
Sure is.
So how
about games?
So I've been playing Pokemon Go.
No, you haven't. Don't.
As of today.
No.
I wasn't one of the cool kids.
No one's playing that game.
What even is it? I don't even know what it is.
I don't know.
Pokemans? Pocket Monsters? Anyway, I've been playing Pokemon Go on the iPhone. Finally, it's been released.
As of
Sneaky
today.
Sneaky Nintendo. Or Niantic Studios, or whoever is in charge of this.
Niantic? Or Niantic? Or I don't know, how would you say it? I guess I'd say Niantic.
I think the C is silent.
Nianti.
No, it's not. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, so obviously people were downloading the APK and they were faffing around with their GPS settings and basically doing anything they could, jumping through hoops to get the, early version. Yep,
is what people were saying, basically.
Basically, we've been waiting for this since the mid-90s, haven't we?
Yeah.
Everybody's been saying, I remember memes. Meme upon meme upon meme of dear Nintendo, just give us this, and it's just a really high quality rendering in the Unreal 4 engine of Ash Ketchum catching a Pokemon, or dear Nintendo, give us this but in HD, and it's just Pokemon Snap. But do you know what they've done? They've done it in Real D.
Real V. Wait.
Real D. Wait, that sounds really unsavory. Yeah, so I've been playing Pokemon Go. Immediately extremely impressed. I spent my entire lunch hour from work just walking around.
I thought you were about to say you spent your entire life savings on buying Pokeballs.
Spent my entire life savings at a Pokestop for Pokeballs. So I've been stopping over some local Pokestops, which are also local landmarks to me, which basically are usually just the entrances to parks and other public areas. There's a stadium near me. There was the entrance to the stadium, entrance to a park that's got a nice pond. Saw some water Pokemon around there. I don't know what to say about it other than it's incredible. What an incredible experience.
It is very, very fun. And the thing is, I don't quite know entirely why, because there's not a whole lot to the game. It's just, hey, there's another Pidgey, chuck my balls at it. I mean, I chuck my balls around on a daily basis anyway, so it's not much different.
I have a tendency to chuck my balls at things. So
and birds
nothing
I see in
new
the street,
there. Hey, birds in the street. Only British people will get that.
I meant pigeons.
You've just got to chuck your balls at birds. Sometimes you miss. Sometimes you hit them right on the head. Whoa!
Wow. Oh, should I cut that? We'll see.
No.
People want to hear this vulgar chat. Sure.
I mean what I say, Terry. I chuck Pokeballs at Pidgeys, so we can do better.
It's vulgar. So yeah, I don't know. It's a very weird game because, like I said, there's not a whole lot to it. But god damn, if it isn't strangely compelling.
It's strangely compelling, isn't it? It's basically okay. We're not quite out of ideas yet. How about we crawl the Google Maps API, let people pick a character from past Pokemon games, basically, but a bit taller, and throw Pokemon onto the screen.
Pokemon.
done. That's the game.
Yeah,
It literally is the game.
It literally is the game.
I know you can evolve them. Do you know what it? Do you know what it reminds me more of than an actual Pokemon game?
Your mother.
Is Dragon Veil. Do you remember that one?
Oh,
that
God.
addictive
Oh God, please don't.
horror show.
Don't. Please
I
don't.
spent a lot.
Don't bring up the memories of that. Christ.
I spent money on Dragon Veil.
I spent money on Dragon Ball.
It's one of those things that you don't really want to admit, and you feel a little bit dirty afterwards.
I
I may or may not have spent money on gems. Me and my wife together sat next to each other on holiday once, playing Dragon Veil, and we were waiting for eggs. We needed to wait 24 hours, and both of us looked at each other in the eyes, and sort of said, "Shall we do it?" And we both nervously nodded and smiled as we tapped on that screen and spent $5.99 on some bloody digital gems. And I'm not proud of this, but we did that a few times. We spent we each spent probably about 20 quid on that game on an app. I do not spend money on apps. I resent spending money on apps.
Yeah, 20 quid. I only spent that much as well.
You definitely didn't, Terry. Come on. Come on, Terry.
Probably spent a bit more than that.
Tell everybody how much you spent.
I don't know. Probably over 100 quid. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you're talking about.
What? So, sorry, what was that? 30 quid? 40?
Nah, just
70? Come on, Terry. What's the figure?
It was. I don't know. It's probably about 150 quid. All right. I'm not proud of it. It's a dark time in my life.
You could literally buy 3 brand new PlayStation 4 titles for that amount of money. But no.
Hey, I needed them.
Dragon Veil compelled you so much.
Oh God,
Nay, absorbed you so much.
This was over the course of like an entire year. It wasn't just in a week. I did play that game solidly for a year, like getting all the seasonal dragons and things.
But this isn't WoW,
it's just
though.
Like, no,
it's not even WoW as a game semantically. It's more like meh.
That's wow. That's perfect review. That's perfect.
I'm here all week. Yet you spent £150 on it. Who's the chud?
I know. I like.
Come on, Terry.
Over the course of like a year.
Who's the chud?
Okay. It got to the point. Well, obviously, I realised how much I was spending on it, and I was like, "This is absolutely ridiculous." I removed the app from my phone and my iPad, and I was like, "This is not happening. I can't touch this game anymore." But yeah, I removed it from my life. It was just absolutely ridiculous. So
went to rehab.
Spent a couple of years in rehab.
Yeah. Went to the WoW rehab, and they all laughed at you. What a chud! You got addicted to Dragon Veil. Oh dear.
Yeah, so I packed in Dragon Veil and I went back to WoW.
Great. That's the only healthy way to do it. It's that, or crack. So I think you're a winner.
I think it's I think it's fine as long as I'm indoors.
Well done,
safe.
Terry. I've got a sponsor's token for you right here, shaped like a Pokeball.
Fantastic. I'm
so
very
Pokemon
proud.
Go. It's strangely compelling. It's definitely got more meat to it than Dragon Veil.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it's along the same vein.
It kind of reminds me of that. It's along the same vein because you're gestating eggs and you have to instead of gems, I guess, instead of time, you're using another spatial element, which is just walking around. So
I mean, it's still
I quite
got
like that. I like how it's got people off their
purchases,
couches.
So it's still like you could still fall into that same trap with this game. I think a lot of people probably will because it's so much more popular than Dragon Veil ever was.
And immediately, the first day, more downloads than Tinder.
It's ridiculously popular. It's crazy. But the thing is, I've said this to a few people now. It's crazy. It's a smartphone game, and you sort of assume, okay, if someone's on their smartphone, they're just going to be looking down at the screen. They're going to be completely antisocial, not interacting with anyone around them. And you see that a lot.
And that's exactly true with Pokemon Go.
That's exactly.
In fact, they're so absorbed they're getting hit by cars and finding dead bodies.
This is true, but at the same time, I've just spoken to random people in the street when I've been out playing Pokemon Go. We'll like sort of look at each other. There'll be that knowing glance where we're like, "Oh, oh, he's trying to catch a Squirtle right now. Oh yeah, and we're sort of standing around. We're like, oh god, and then you start, you see
And then you turn around and you give another knowing glance, and the police officer says, "What are you doing out here at 3:00? This is private property." In the morning.
Hey, that only happened once. But then I just struck up a conversation with these people. We just start talking like, oh yeah, I caught this over there. Yeah, what are you doing? You've been like walking around. What? Are you with any of these gyms? What color are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm yellow. I'm red. And like, oh yeah, filthy yellow. And then I stabbed him. And then it's just like,
wow. This is like a Bloods and Crips scale war. I have been seeing some bants on the old Facebookosphere.
It's getting vicious. It's getting
pretty vicious.
Apparently there was it in Sydney, I think,
everything.
when there was like I can't remember which team it was, but one of the teams, let's say Blue or whatever,
I think it was Team
were they were like arranged a big meet-up at one place. Team Red and a bunch of Team Red and Yellow people caught wind of this and then just showed up for a rumble.
Literally, and for you Brits listening to this, it's football, isn't it? Literally, Yoppo come down for a scrap, mate.
It's becoming
They
that.
literally came for a scrap.
Crazy.
That is actually unbelievable.
But
it's
becoming this massive cultural phenomenon, and it's doing. It's sort of turning the idea of a smartphone around. It's making them making people actually be social. And the thing is that obviously this Pokemon Go was built based on Niantic's previous game, Ingress.
Yes,
and
let's talk about Ingress.
I've not played it. To be honest, I'll be honest.
Let's talk about Ingress.
I had no idea about this game until Pokemon Go, and then I'll freely admit I didn't know a thing about it. I've read about it since, and it sounds really fun. It sounds really interesting.
It does. It's like a capture the flag IRL.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd be cool if they add some of those features into Pokemon Go. I actually read earlier today that you can now submit. You can apply for new Pokespots and gyms in your area in the same way you could with Ingress, which was I think the major difference is that like they're pretty much all the locations in Pokemon Go come from Ingress where people have submitted things in the past, and things like churches or places of worship had automatic approval. So you'd apply for this is a church or whatever, or it was a church, and straight away that would become a portal in Ingress, and that's now a gym or a Pokestop in Pokemon Go. So yeah,
so they kind of
had like 6 years of development, I think.
Okay, so that's how it came out so quickly. They've basically reskinned their code base.
Pretty much, yeah. Nintendo have like, so they've basically done what Valve have done several times with things like Portal and Left 4 Dead and stuff. They had they've seen a team of students making like some kind of demo, some kind of tech demo of whatever they're making, and they're like, yeah, okay, we like that. We're gonna buy you. We're gonna buy that technology. You're gonna come along with us, and you're gonna make a full game with our branding and it would be our IP and stuff. And that's what Nintendo seems to have done here. They've seen this and they're like, okay, brilliant. This would work well for Pokemon. We're going to take that and we're gonna push it. And I think it's a shame that Ingress didn't get the publicity I think it should have done. It sounds really, really interesting, really fun. But at the same time, it's perhaps there's a reason for that. Perhaps the thing it needed was to have a thing like Pokemon attached to it to push this type of game out there into people's minds.
Yeah,
and get them out and moving.
Absolutely, because mechanically it was very interesting, but it's a bit of a niche. As far as I understand it, you need to go to real-world locations and you need to create a portal or some sort of link. You need at least 3 of those to create like a triangulation of a certain area, and you do that as a team of people. So you don't necessarily all have to visit one place, if I'm understanding correctly. And that's kind of fun. I mean, this kind of a orienteering kind of activity, but digitized. But it's extremely niche. What Nintendo have done is come along and thought, well, they were probably looking at their options, and they probably thought, well, actually, we could use this. Let's put an IP against it which, let's face it, Nintendo, as good as they are, and I do enjoy many Nintendo games, and I have done since I was a child. Um, Most of them are excellently built, always bug free. They're consistently good within their own universe. For example, a Mario game. If you're a hardcore first-person shooter fan, you might not enjoy Mario. Doesn't mean it's not a good
Mario's
game.
perfect for FPS fans.
Mario is Mario is the Super Mario 3D World, for example, is the perfect example of a platformer. This
game. Absolutely
is the
fantastic.
perfect example of the alternative to meth. Why not get addicted to something digital instead? No, but in all seriousness, they've basically slapped an IP on it and a nice skin, and what a bloody stroke of genius that was.
It's incredible. I mean, I've been playing it for a week now, I think. And like I said, I've
It's because you got the APK, didn't you?
I did. I got Android, so I got the APK straight away. And like bugs and everything aside, and it's obviously had major server issues because there's millions upon millions of people playing it. It's the social aspect that it's created is fantastic. I never, if I was just walking along the street, I never would have spoken to the people I've spoken to, and I've had a conversation with them. Some of them have been quite fun people to talk to and stuff, and it's like, yeah, it's great, and everyone sort of shares this love, and you just I went for a walk the other night with a couple of friends, and we were walking until I didn't get home until 11 o'clock at night. Because we were just walking around. So we were walking around at night, and it's just strangely busy for that time of night because usually other people are just walking around. We even went to a cemetery in the hopes that there would be ghost Pokemon there at like 10 p.m.
That's actually amazing. Were there?
No, and actually there were 2 Vulpix.
Okay.
Which was awesome because neither of us, none of the 3 of us had them yet. So
that's
that was
potentially
cool.
creepier. Vulpix, what the hell are you doing here? Who have you just buried in a shallow grave?
Yeah, Vulpix was carrying a shovel, weirdly, covered in blood. But we just bumped into people, and they're just like, "Hey, Pokemon Go!" Like, "Hey," sometimes it's just that, and they're just like you sort of look at each other and give the cheesy sort of jazz hands. And other times it was you have a full on conversation. Like there was one guy we talked to, and he's we'd been fighting a gym. Turns out that was the guy we were fighting. That was the guy who had the gym, and we sort of it was going back and forth between the 3 of us and him, and. It was great, and we sort of all had a laugh about it until he beat him to death.
Yeah, great story, compelling and rich. Strange ending, I've got to say. I wasn't expecting that. No, but I mean, it goes without saying though. Everybody listening, do be careful if you're going out at night, especially like this idiot Terry, until 11 o'clock, 11 in the PM. I was tucked up in bed with my slippers and my cocoa by that point. Although I didn't have Pokemon Go at the time, so I would definitely have been out also with you, having fun.
You were just
Lol.
Let's be honest, you were in bed crying.
I was in bed crying because I didn't have it because I'm an iPhone boy.
iPhone boy, iPhone boy, iPhone boy.
Well, anyway, so it goes without saying. Please, if you're listening, do be careful. Always go in pairs or more, especially at night, and always look where you're going. Because honestly, I scoffed at people who were causing accidents and all sorts of other mayhem that you're reading about in the news this last week. And what did I do? 10 minutes in, almost walked out into the road. I did check myself. I caught myself, and I thought, what the heck are you doing? And I did look, and cross the road safely. But seriously, it's not going to cost you anything to just put the phone down for a second and cross the road sensibly.
Yeah,
and also
look
out for snatchers as well. There's a big thing in London at the moment of people snatching phones out of people's hands on motorbikes. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but obviously we've read about the negative side of Pokemon Go.
Yeah, this is like, as much as you sort of say, oh, this is fantastic, it's creating these social opportunities for people and getting people talking out in the street, it's also getting people injured. I think
exactly.
I think
and we
it's
do
not
have
happening.
to address it. It's like the whole age-old argument about video games cause violence and all that. And do you know what? As I get older, I can see both sides of the story. Very young, impressionable people, maybe they would be prone to more violent tendencies if they played a lot of violent video games very early in their lives. I don't know though, because I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist.
However, that's a whole other topic.
That's a whole other topic.
Let's not open that can of worms.
Let's never open that can of worms.
Keep that one closed and in the back of the cupboard.
That one down.
Discover it in 20 years and realise it went out of date 15 years ago.
Yeah, that conversation's already out of date. Anyway, so I think that there's pretty hard evidence in the press that there are dangers to Pokemon Go.
Absolutely. I think it's not happening quite as much as we might think it is. Obviously, these things get attention in the press, but you got to think of all the people who are the millions of people who are happily playing this game and nothing is happening to them because they are being sensible. Feels.
It really is millions as well.
It really is millions. It should be unnecessary to sort of say, be sensible with this. Don't like that. I saw a review on the Play Store on Android. It was a poorly written review. I think I sent you a picture of it actually.
You did.
A guy basically just saying. It was just in fairly broken English. It was quite hard to understand, but it was like basically saying not everywhere is safe. This is not the cartoon, and it's true. It's not like you're not just gonna.
Whoa, friend. What do you mean this is not the cartoon? Not everywhere is safe. Have you ever heard of Team Rocket?
Exactly.
Is Meowth a nice guy? I don't think so.
They can be. Sometimes they were the heroes.
I'll go to the sweet shop with Meowth. No, he's evil.
He's a talking cat. I'd probably capture him and then try and sell him.
Exactly. Jesse and James, as hapless as they were working for an evil organisation that literally kidnapped living animals to test them and stuff. The scientific research to make Mewtwo's and junk. It's not cool, man.
It's not cool.
Not cool at all.
But yeah, I think people shouldn't necessarily. I think people shouldn't necessarily blame Pokemon Go for this. I think people should just be sensible. Just be smart.
I think people should stop blaming video games for anything and just start looking at the real problem, which is human beings.
Absolutely. I think there's
realistically, X amount of people got injured in car crashes last year. Yeah, but they kind of need humans to operate them, so...
Yeah, it's not... Well, something... Okay, but I think that's possibly a different example, though, because, sometimes it could genuinely be the car's fault, say the brakes fail or something like that, or a tyre burst or something like that, but...
Yeah, but a human made them.
A human made them. Did they really? Or made by machines these days?
Or they're made by machines.
Who made
the machines, Terry?
The other machines.
The machines. And
other machines made those machines. It's just a continuous cycle. Machines make machines.
Who made the Foxconn machines?
Machines.
Probably
other machines.
Did, actually.
They
probably actually did.
But yeah, I think we said it enough. I think people need to be sensible. But it's a great fun game. I would highly recommend it that people give it a go. Especially if you played the old games back in. When did the first ones come out here? I think was it 97 or 98 they came over to the UK? Whatever it is, around then. If you played the games back then, perhaps, and you haven't played a Pokemon game since, do this. Play Pokemon Go, and maybe it's
it will make you feel fantastic.
You'll be like, oh, I remember all these Pokemon. The nostalgia is very high with it. But perhaps it'll be this is what I'm kind of hoping as well. Perhaps it'll be a bit of a gateway game. Get people who aren't necessarily into games back into gaming. Gateway game.
To harder gaming.
To harder gaming.
Say no to hardcore gaming.
But maybe it'll bring people back into loving Nintendo and Pokemon things. I mean, the Pokemon games are still fantastic.
I mean, play it on your commute. I mean, not if you're driving, God. But play it on your commute. If you're on the train, can you imagine it? As you go past, it's 60 miles an hour. Pikachu, it's gone. Got sucked under the tracks. And we never saw him again. Poor Pikachu.
It's actually quite difficult to play on the go. I play it on the train, or try to. I have it open on the train, and on the way.
Yeah, I was joking. I'm assuming it is extremely difficult to play on the train due to the speed at which you move.
Well, it's not it's mostly because of the internet connection, because it will just flake out in certain areas. So I was trying to catch a Ghastly. I was like, oh, there's a Ghastly, great, I'll grab that. But the position of it didn't help. It was like right by a gym, and it had like a Pidgey and a Spearow either side of it, and they were all really close. So it was hard to actually touch the Ghastly. But then when I did, it just wasn't loading, and then the game crashed. I actually managed to get fight the Ghastly. I threw a ball at him. It caught him. It was going to catch him, and then the game froze. So to crash out of that, by the time I got back into it, the train had moved on. So it's quite difficult to play on the train, and it's sort of a shame in a way that like going on a train or something doesn't make eggs hatch faster. Because I mean, I've done a lot of distance on the train. It's kind of understandable because I think it's just because it can't update the location fast enough, perhaps. To accurately say how far you've travelled.
On that subject, though, the people are getting soft banned for GPS spoofing, aren't they?
Yeah.
So you couldn't say you were in Southend 1 minute and then Inverness the next, could you?
Oh, well, mate, I do that every day, so yeah. Every day, in about 5 minutes, do that journey. It's fine. But yeah,
just jumping in your jet.
People are pretending to be on one side of the world and then the other, trying to catch Pokemon, and then they're getting a soft ban, and it's just
for the last sort of 5 minutes, I've just been walking around with my phone in my hand, hoping that this egg, which is on 1.99 out of 2 kilometers, is going to hatch.
This is how much.
This is what my life has become. Yeah.
But I don't know. It's really good fun. I recommend getting into it, and perhaps you'll get back into Pokemon or Nintendo or something.
I don't think we'd even need to really go through the mechanics, do we?
Not really. It's really simple.
Get some fresh air, and be safe, and enjoy collecting the first 150 Pokemon again.
Yeah, and put it this way: if you go out for walks or runs or whatever, anyway, just it's a free app. Just grab it. It's a nice little thing to do as you're going for a walk. Yeah. You get some fresh air,
and everyone's doing it.
It's great.
Everyone's
you might meet
doing
some people,
it.
So you might meet some fun people.
Yeah, and also you should probably do it if everyone's doing it.
If everyone's doing it, give in to peer pressure.
It's definitely
Always
give in. Always don't give in to peer pressure.
No, always give in to peer pressure. Do it. Give in.
Okay, I will.
There we go. See, that's what happens. Peer pressure. I think we've talked enough about Pokemon Go, though. It's as great as it is. We've rambled for about half an hour.
I think. Well, I mean, let's call this a Pokemon special.
Okay.
Because I think I know what other game that got released a certain couple of decades ago.
Ratchet and Clank.
That we played as children, not Ratchet and Clank. That you have been playing recently on your 3DS.
I sure
What
have,
is that
sir.
game, Terry? Give me your 30 seconds
Sonic the Hedgehog
review of not Sonic the Hedgehog, Pokemon Yellow, or Blue or Red.
How we haven't full disclosure, we haven't really planned out this feature yet.
Nope.
This is a sort of test run. How are we going to do this, Phil? You gonna run some kind of stopwatch, and I'll just kind of wing a review together.
Do you know what, Terry?
I don't know what. Tell me what.
I'm going to do just that.
Fantastic. Let's
while I ready my stopwatch on my smart digital device. Okay, so Terry, you're in the hot seat. 30-second post-hype review of Pokemon Red and Blue version and Pikachu Yellow version. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, Pokemon Yellow version. It's the third version of the very popular Pokemon Red and Blue games. The green version in Japan, but we won't go into that. It's very complicated. Pokemon is a game in which you travel around the world and you catch little monsters. For if you don't know, but you probably do because everyone knows. Oh my god, I just don't know what to say. It's really good fun. The yellow version is based more on the anime, and a Pikachu follows you around, and you can talk to him, and you can his mood changes, and you make him friendly with you and stuff. You can catch Pokemon and you fight gyms.
Time up. Okay. So 30-second post-hype review is actually extremely difficult.
It's actually really difficult.
For what? To be fair, for a 40-hour RPG, because people forget it's a 40-hour-long RPG.
I didn't even really get to the review part of that. Then that was just mainly just explaining that I don't know. I just got so nervous, man.
You just said stuff. Okay, so just in your own time, let's go through an overview of the mechanics, the genre, and what the heck is this Pokemon thing? Where did it even come from? So let's go.
Yeah, so Pokemon was its peak of its popularity when the original games came out back in the 90s, but it's maintained a pretty high popularity ever since. I think it's the second highest selling franchise behind Mario.
In the universe.
In the
Sorry.
universe.
In the multiverse.
The diamond in the rough. It's been hugely popular for a long time. I've been a fan the whole way through. I've played all the main games, a lot of the side games, and basically the idea is you're a 10-year-old boy or girl.
I actually was a 10-year-old boy at the time, so
this is
I
true.
felt like it was the story of my life. To be honest. So was Harry Potter.
It was a biography.
I thought I was Harry Potter and Red from Pokemon Red.
You were.
Oh,
they based it on your life. They did both of those things, even though they're wildly different.
Yeah, I didn't have any friends, but I lived vicariously through those characters. So it was fine.
You had people who tolerated you.
Yep, they weren't real.
So yeah, I imagine everyone knows what Pokemon is. It's been such a huge thing. But for those who don't, it's. You play this in the original games. You didn't have there was no gender choice. You just played as a male character, like a 10-year-old boy or whatever it was. And you had a rival who lived next door to you, and you picked one of 3 Pokemon to start with: Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle. In the yellow version, you had to have Pikachu, and you traveled around the world catching other Pokemon, little monsters, little animals, to add to your team of 6. You could have a bunch more stored in a box, and you would go around and you'd fight other trainers. You'd raise your Pokemon up. You'd battle gyms, and you get gym badges. And there was 8 gym badges, and then eventually that would take you to the Pokemon League, which is the Elite Four. And they're the 4 toughest trainers in the land, and you beat them, and then your rival ends up being the champion, and you beat him, and then you become the champion, so that you're the strongest trainer in the land. And those basic mechanics have persisted through all the games. They've all added various different features. The next games in the series, Gold and Silver, and Crystal, the 3rd version, they added a time function. So there was day and night. So different Pokemon would show up depending on the time of day. And it sort of just progressed from there. And then you had Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald. Emerald was the first game to add animated sprites. Actually, no, that's a lie. I'm lying. Sorry, Crystal was the first game to do that. And
I did not know that.
Yeah, Crystal was the first game to do that, and Ruby and Sapphire actually removed it strangely, and Emerald re-added it.
Okay.
Yeah, there was also they introduced breeding Pokemon in Gold and Silver, so you could put Pokemon in a daycare center. If you put two Pokemon that were compatible with each other, then they'd breed. They do their
which has since been outlawed in Johto, and they're thinking about outlawing it in Kanto as well, but pending a large legal case.
Forcing Pokemon to breed against their will.
Yeah, it's pretty weird, isn't it?
Now, Kith.
I do love now, Kith. I do love how Pokemon is basically your standard explorative RPG with battle elements, but classically, as Nintendo do with everything, they soften it up for a wider audience. So you've got cute little animals fighting each other, and they don't die, they don't kill each other, they just knock each other out, and then you hobble off to a Pokemon Center and make them well again, and everybody's happy. And they're not at all perturbed by the fact that you keep them in tiny digital cages.
Yeah, in fact, the more you keep them enclosed and force them to fight, the friendlier they become with you.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Apart from Pikachu, who just follows you around.
Who's just a little rodent.
So, the original 3 Pokemon games, how important were they to the games industry in the 90s? And, in fact, to this day?
They were absolutely massive. The Pokemon has been one of the most influential franchises in the world. Not least because it was a simple to get into RPG. Again, it's that sort of gateway game that gets you into bigger stuff. It certainly was for me. I mean, I was already playing games before that and stuff, RPGs and Zelda and all sorts of things. But it definitely it's an easy step into understanding how more complicated games work. It's
yeah, absolutely.
Because you have things like Mario, where it's pretty simple. You run and you jump, you stomp on enemies, you get to the end of the level. You just got to keep moving right, and that's it. Whereas Pokemon, there's a lot more mechanics in play. It's a lot more complex, and
there's exploration, there's puzzles.
Exactly.
You've got a lot of time because there's no health bar for the protagonist. You can just walk around, and explore. And you've got dungeons, not dungeons as such, but
something akin to them. You've got these areas like
where there are more puzzles and you have to pick up certain items.
Yeah, and there are bosses in the sense that the gym leaders are bosses, or like the head of Team Rocket are bosses, or whatever it may be. You get to the end of an area, and then there's the leader of this faction or something. There's a slightly more powerful trainer who's got a big beefy Pokemon to attack you with. So it's got all these sort of mainstays, these conventions of JRPGs, but it has a twist on a Nintendo twist, a sort of friendly twist. And
absolutely, I mean, it took your sort of earlier Mega Drive and SNES RPGs, put them in your pocket on a Game Boy, and there was the save functionality, which I read a really sad article recently about the last batteries from the original Pokemon cartridges are probably about ready to give up the ghost.
My original really Pokemon Red still works.
Yeah, you can,
I've
and also
got a save on it. With Pokemon from God knows how many years ago, and Infinite Rare Candies, because everyone used the
missing go bug.
Yeah, everyone used it.
Brilliant. So I mean, this thing. I mean, it's great that yours works. I mean, they won't work forever, but you can just change them up. There's a watch battery.
My copies of I found my copy of Gold and Silver recently, and they've just packed it in because those were slightly different, because they added the time functionality. The battery didn't last as long.
Yeah, it was always going.
It no longer it's not just that that I've lost the saves on them or anything. They no longer save at all. So you can start the game, you can play it, but if you try to save, the next time you load it up, there'll be nothing there. You have to start again, which is a shame. You can get it replaced, as Phil said. But there's not a whole lot of point for me, to be honest.
It's not really worth it. The original games, do play them, and if you haven't already, you can download them from the Nintendo eShop, and they're great ports.
Yeah, I think there was it might have finished now, but there was a sale on them. You can get them for slightly cheaper.
It was earlier this week.
Was it just on Yellow, or was it all three of them?
No, it might have been all three. Yeah, I think it was all three of them. Yep. It was all over Facebook anyway. Just head to the eShop and grab a copy. Yeah. They are great.
Definitely.
Especially if you've never played them before. Just go back to the beginnings of Pokemon. There'll be lots of familiar mechanics there.
Even if you have played them before, jump back in, go and play them, because they're still great games. They still hold up today. There's a lot of problems that they've resolved in later ones, but nothing that gets in the way of the gameplay. So by all means, go and try it out. And honestly, I mean, what are your thoughts, Phil? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they bring Gold and Silver and Crystal to the eShop sometime soon.
Oh yeah, no, I think it's inevitable. I think most of the Pokemon games, I think most of the Mario games, most of the Zelda games, they'll all end up on there one day. I think Nintendo are doing the right thing. I mean, they're drip feeding it to us, so we do have to spend more money. I'm not adverse to it. Obviously, there's work that goes into ports. There's wages to pay. But yeah, I mean, eventually I can kind of see myself with a Nintendo account, almost like a Steam account, just full of my old classic games. And there'll be some that I never play and that aged horribly, and then there'll be classics like Pokemon that I'll always go back to for many, many years.
Yeah,
and I think I'd love to see what the NX actually is. I know we touched on it. Since we're sort of going a bit Pokemon crazy, I'd love to see what happens with the Pokemon franchise, potentially even on the NX.
I mean, if it's supposed to, if the rumors of this being this like hybrid, this hybrid system are true, then I mean, God knows. I mean, they could do some fantastic stuff with that, because they've always said that they want to keep
full-on Pokedex. Can you imagine that?
Well, they've always said that they want to keep the main Pokemon games handheld, because they want people to be out and about trading with people and take it wherever they go, and they want that connectivity. and it's harder to do that on a home console. However, if the NX is this hybrid thing, then they can do that sort of home console, in air quotes, version of Pokemon. I know that there was Colosseum and XD before, but they had issues and they weren't the same type of game.
No, they weren't.
They were massively,
they were very limited.
They were pretty fun, but they were not what I was looking for, and a lot of people were looking for in a console Pokemon RPG. So
I think Pokemon Snap got closest.
Pokemon Snap, that was a fantastic game.
This is kind of like an amalgamation of Pokemon Snap. They could have just made another Pokemon Snap.
Honestly, I was really hoping they would have made one on the Wii U.
Yeah, all they're doing is chucking Pokeballs at them rather than snapping them. That's the main difference with Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
And the AR element actually
technically you can take pictures of them as well.
Yeah, exactly. But the AR element for me is fun. It's kind of a gimmick as well. I've really need it. It's fun. It's great fun. It's great fun, but
it is. It's fun to see. Like, oh, let me turn on the AR. See where this Pokemon actually is. If I turn it on, oh, he's sitting on my knee. Okay, now I'll turn that off. I haven't added on because it's just, for one thing, it's an extra drain on the battery, and that's the big problem with Pokemon Go at the moment. It is a massive drain on the battery. But
I actually saw an article for essential for Pokemon Go players.
I think I know the one you're talking
about. There's
already
an article. There's hard cases with your team's colours on. There is a spare battery pack to charge on the go. And when we're talking about people who are going to be going into the mountains for days,
yeah, it's like here, have this pack with like a trail mix in it, and make sure you've got some water and some sunscreen and all this stuff. It's like pack all these things. Like what the hell? I'm not going on a trek. I'm just going for a walk up my local high street.
I'm going on an adventure. Let's face it, that's how we all felt when we knew Pokemon Go.
To be fair, I mean, I considered like just packing everything in and just going on a journey with my phone and Pokemon Go.
Yeah, and it would last about 2 or 3 hours until your battery went.
Yeah, and they were like, well, that was great. Back I
go.
go.
Now I'm outside with no phone, no Pokemon Go in a unfriendly looking neighbourhood, and I'm scared. Let's go home. Back to the plugged-in media games.
But yeah, Pokemon has been massively influential in the games industry, and just now Pokemon Go this huge social upheaval. It's crazy, and
I can't wait to see what's in the future.
Absolutely,
for it.
Just about to say,
in the future, even.
I can't wait to see what features are going to add to it. They're going to add PvP battling and trading, which isn't in the game yet. It's
battling would be great. Let's face it, it's kind of still in its beta stage. That's why they didn't. Release. They just want people to play it to iron out all the bugs. Then they can start adding the real gameplay elements. Again, I like Dragonvale. It was just. They should have called it Eggvale because you were just hatching eggs all the time. And then they actually added game mechanics into it.
Yeah, like racing and mini games and all sorts of things. Like eventually, it became a much more substantial game.
Yeah, exactly. And
After
I think
I'd already spent the money on it.
Yeah. But I think this is going to be a similar thing, and it's going to grow, and that's the great thing about smart devices. You can just get one version of the game. It will update. Okay, you might spend a bit of money, or in your case, a lot of money, but you'll get a great deal of enjoyment out of it, and it'll be constantly updated. And I think that's where this is going to go. I mean, we're already seeing the negatives, but we're also seeing the positives. I mean, small businesses, the sales have increased. Nintendo shares suddenly up 50%. I don't know how that helps anyone else, but good positive headlines.
Good sign, as well. It's good. Yeah. It's good to see.
I love it. I love Nintendo. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. I have been my whole life, and I would really like to see this be successful and this be a new chapter for Nintendo.
Absolutely, I agree.
Because it's 2016 now. You do have to get online. You have to get social. You have to get a bit of Web 2.0. Does that mean wasn't there? 2006. Nope. This is a gaming machine. We'll give you an Opera browser at most. That's all you're getting. And then it was 2009 to 2011. No, maybe we should start looking at it. Yeah, we'll give you a couple of eShop. Here you go. You can have some downloads. And then 2014, it's like, yeah, okay, we should probably get involved. And 2016, boom, world changed. Pokemon Go is out. We are the internet.
It's everywhere.
That's
Everywhere
just so Nintendo, though,
It's
isn't
all
it? It's
over
just
the
like
place.
whatever we touch turns to gold. So
It's
we'll
even
let,
taken
we'll let
over
everyone
this
else have a
podcast.
chance first, and then we'll drop Pokemon Go, and it'll just be mayhem.
But we've rambled about Pokemon for quite some time
We
now.
have rambled
for
about
quite a long
Pokemon.
time.
Too long.
Let's say we try and bring this to a close.
I think we should bring this to a close. I thought this was just going to be a short, sort of Pokemon Go update podcast. It's turned into an hour-long affair. What? Just very quickly before we go.
Yeah.
Original 3 games, or let's just say Red and Blue, out of 10.
Honestly, I'd give them a 9. 9 out of 10.
I would definitely give them a 9. The hours and upon hours of enjoyment I got from those games.
I have so many memories of those games. I could tell you so many stories. I got so many.
Visually very clever as well.
Hours.
For the technology that they had at the time,
Yeah.
visually very clever.
Yeah.
The sprites were wonderful.
Yeah, everyone had their favourite Pokemon and stuff. Charizard everyone loved Charizard back then.
Evolving Pokemon, fighting in gyms, fighting out in the wild. The puzzles, everything about it, I loved it. I love the world that they created, the immersive experience they managed with the same machine that you were playing Tetris on. You were getting a 40-hour savable game out of it.
Absolutely huge. So before we end this, what have you been playing, Phil? Have you been playing anything other than Pokemon Go this week, or has that been taking up all of your time?
Pokemon Go, I just started playing today. And I have been playing it for pretty much all day. All the free moments I've whipped the old phone out and thrown my balls around.
Standard.
Standard. I haven't really been playing much. I've downloaded a couple of games on my smartphone recently, and I haven't played them. It's classic. I go on a bit of a I got a bit of an App Store binge every now and again, just download a bunch and then just never get around to them. Revisited Angry Birds 2 recently. It's pretty good. But yeah, Pokemon Go. Other than that, I've just been trying to fix my computer woes so I can get back.
I had a great week.
Get back on Steam. No, it's not been a great week, but Pokemon has definitely brightened my day and my week, and quite possibly my year, to be honest. That's gonna be me from now on.
That's it. Pokemon Go, nothing else.
But to all the listeners, thank you very much for tuning in again.
Whoa. You're not even going to ask me what I've been playing?
I know what you've been playing. You've been playing Pokemon Go.
Correct. Thank you all for tuning in. It's been really good. It's been really fun.
It has been fun.
Yeah.
I hope that you had fun too.
Yeah. I mean, all 3 of you, which is me, Phil, and my mum. Phil's mum doesn't like it.
Nope.
Thank you for tuning in. It's been great, and we will see you again soon for Super Game N Gab.
Super Game N Gab. Look out for the Twitch stream. Look out for the next podcast. We're going to get them up weekly if we can.
If we can, let's not commit.
Peace out. Keep it gaming.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Let's not commit.
Peace out. Keep it gaming.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.